Australian imitations.
The Asianisation of our suburbs. There is an old Chinese proverb, "We can fool any foreigner." I live in Carlton in Sydney South, nestled between Kogarah and Hurstville. In the last month, there has been great controversy out this way, as reported in the local paper, with both articles and residents' letters complaining at how Australia Day is being overshadowed and negated by council celebrations of Chinese New Year. In Kogarah, there is another, not entirely unrelated controversy going on. Kogarah Council has not one, but 3 sister cities in China: Shundi, Manshan, and Nangshan. Chinese government officials in Shundi are giving Kogarah Council a statue of the Kung Fu actor Bruce Lee, and they are insisting it be placed in a prominent public location. Kogarah Council has decided, with no public consultation, to erect the statue in Kogarah Town Square. Many residents are against this and believe that an Australian identity, especially one with local significance, should be erected instead. Some of the suggestions being a big statue of St. George, as Kogarah is home to the St. George Dragons, Don Bradman, Ken Rosewall, and even Clive James, who is an old Kogarah boy. Many residents opposed to the placing of the statue in Kogarah Town Square have suggested that it should rather be placed outside one of the martial arts academies in Kogarah, but it is not good enough for the Chinese officials or Kogarah Council. There is a local lady, a true patriot, who has taken it on herself to take a petition against the Bruce Lee statue, and she has collected nearly 400 signatures so far. The council is ignoring the opposition to the Bruce Lee statue and is instead grovelling to the Chinese government officials. The statue is due to be unveiled on Friday, April 4 at 5 p.m, with officials from China in attendance, including the district governor of Shundi. There will actually be the second Chinese cultural statue erected in Kogarah, and there is a third on the way. Officials from Manshan presented an 800-kilogram stainless steel statue of 8th century Chinese poet Li Bai to Kogarah Council in 2009, which is now on display in the Manshan Friendship Park at South Hurstville. The Mayor of Kogarah has stated that a third statue, this time from Nangshan, would be given to the council. Of course, none of the Kogarah's 3 sister cities in China are erecting statues of Australian cultural identities in their cities. It is all one way. This nothing less than Chinese cultural imperialism. The Mayor of Kogarah is on public record as stating that, open quote, "It's about fostering business relationships between our community and theirs," close quote. The business of local councils is a local community, not international trade relations. Of course, fostering even more business relations with China means that Australia will be flooded with even more Chinese products, at the expense of local manufacturing and production and Australian jobs. The 2009 financial year alone saw 77,000 manufacturing workers lose their jobs in Australia. It is well known that China is an unfair trading partner, with Australia coming off second best in any trade deals. Kogarah Council should be supporting local Australian products and jobs, not those in communist China. The Deputy Mayor of Kogarah is Annie Tang, a member of the Unity Party. The Unity Party is dominated by Chinese, and I believe that their real agenda is the gradual supplanting of Anglo-Australian cultural identity and the implementing of the Chinese cultural hegemony. Apart from the cultural and economic concerns involved in all of this, there is also a moral aspect to all this as well. According to a number of academics and human rights agencies, there are over 1,000 Laogai forced labour camps across China. According to a human rights brief, Laogai, which translates from Mandarin to mean reform through labour, is a Chinese system of labour prison factories, detention centres, and re-education camps. Mao Zedong created the system in the early 1950s, modelling it after the Soviet Gulag, as a way to punish and reform criminals in a manner useful to the state, producing through reform and economic gain. The Laogai system is still in place today and continues to deprive individuals of basic human rights. An individual's mere association with groups unpopular with the People's Republic of China government will result in the individual being sent to a reform institution in the Laogai system, through a process that deprives the person of due process rights. Once inside the Laogai, prisoners are subject to cruel and degrading treatment, and oftentimes torture. These human rights abuses violate both Chinese and international rights norms. These Laogai camps, what we could call concentration camps, similar to those in Nazi Germany. People can be sent to these concentration camps merely for their political or religious beliefs. According to Amnesty International reports, there are over 500,000 people are currently enduring punitive detention without charge or trial, and millions are unable to access the legal system to seek redress for their grievances. Harassment, surveillance, house arrest, and imprisonment of human rights defenders are on the rise, and censorship of the internet and other media has grown. Two of Kogarah's sister cities in China, Shundi and Nangshan, are in the Guangdong province, which has 68 Laogai forced labour camps. Kogarah's third sister city, Manshan, is in Anhui province, which is home to 50 Laogai forced labour camps. Millions of females have also gone missing in China, according to an article in The Economist last year. The number may be as high as 100 million. The fact is, China is still a one-party communist dictatorship with massive human rights abuses. Kogarah Council should be supporting Australian culture and Australian products, and they should be representing the constituents of the Kogarah electorate. However, Kogarah Council is hindering the democratic process. If you wish to address the council meetings, you must register your name and details beforehand. You will be restricted to speaking for only 3 minutes, and after you have spoken to a council meeting, you cannot address the council again for 3 months. In a few more years, Kogarah will not be recognisable as an Australian town anymore. It will be completely made over into a Chinese suburb, and Australia Day will be a minor day, celebrated by a minority of Anglo-Australians. Hurstville will be the same, and God knows how many other towns in New South Wales will eventually follow suit. This is the reality of multiculturalism. Is this the future of Australia that we want? Are we just going to whinge and complain and let it happen anyway?
This has been an Australian Limitations